Hey, welcome back, everyone. Last time we were together, we learned about a band called Snarky Puppy, and they had a small local start. And we're going to learn about a band who had a similar start. They're a little more popular. You might have heard of them. They're called Vulfpeck. They actually were founded right here in Michigan, in Ann Arbor. All four of the main members of this band were students at the University of Michigan. They were founded not that long ago either. They actually started in 2011, and now they're a funk band. The member who founded this band, his name is Jack Stratton, and he created the concept for Vulfpeck when he was reading a German interview with the music producer Reinhold Mack. And he was reading about session musicians from the 60s, and he wanted to recreate an ensemble or a band that kind of kept the music from that era alive. So the rhythm section sounded the same as these session musicians from the 60s, but he wanted to give it a German style or a German vibe. So that's how this idea for Vulfpeck came to be. Now, before we dive into this band a little more, we're going to listen to their first ever release named Beastly. And this was released in 2011, the same year they were founded. And they actually released this as a YouTube video first.
Beastly, take
One, two, 1, 2, 3,
So the members of the band are Joe Dart, Woody Goss, Theo Katzman, and then the founding member, Jack Stratton. So let's learn a little bit about these guys. Like I said, they all went to U of M, and they were all students at the School of Music. And they actually first came together when they all played in the rhythm section for a performance. So Joe Dart, he grew up in Harbor Springs, Michigan, and he started playing the bass when he was 8 years old. And in high school, he was in a band, and it was Fish-inspired jam band. Woody Goss grew up in Skokie, Illinois, and he started playing piano at the age of 7. And he was inspired by musician Thelonious Monk, and that is a very famous jazz musician. So he has really gravitated towards jazz in his music. And then later on in his musical career, he was drawn to funk, which makes sense why Vulfpeck has such a funk sound. And in college, he gigged around with several bands, not just Vulfpeck. Theo Katzman actually grew up in Long Island, New York. When he was a teenager, he played the drums and guitar, and he wrote songs. His solo works are mostly rock and folk based, so not funk. And then Jack Stratton grew up in Cleveland Heights, Ohio, and he also started on drums at an early age. And he does most of Vulfpeck's management and production. So that makes sense because he was the founder. So he kind of does most of their managing things. So the next song we'll listen to is Funky Duck. This is one of their most popular tunes, and it's one of my favorites. This is actually the first Vulfpeck song I ever heard.
Oh,
since he was 14. He's self-aware. He gave the first TED talk. Can't remember the name. Treat you all the same. Oh, wow, he's a wow, he's a oh, he's a wow, he's a oh. He's not a duck guy. I said he's not a duck. He ain't no duck. He's a funky duck. Oh, he's a funky duck. I said that he's a funky duck. Funky duck. Funky, 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 funky duck. Oh, wow, he's a. I said,
So as you can see, there's more than the 4 original band members in this video performing. They do have other members that come and join them on certain songs, but those 4 men I named at first were the original members. Now, also you could see in this video, they're using real instruments. It's not a lot of technology creating. So their sound is all real instruments and it's recorded live. They don't make a habit of cutting and mixing their recordings. They record all of their music live to create their songs, and they make sure that each instrument can be heard just to get that well-balanced sound. They don't want any instrument to dominate over another. So you can really just hear every instrument really clearly. They also use improvisation as a key element to their music. So improv means you are kind of making up the music on the spot. Now it does need to make sense with the music. You have to play the right pitches that make sense, but the music is not written down in front of you, or it's never been written down. This happens a lot in jazz. So as a funk band, it makes sense that they're using improv to help create their music. Now, this is a really creative process. You have to use your imagination when you are improving. So this is a huge part of the band's music making. They're making this music on the spot. It takes a lot of creativity. So all of these things, the recording live, not cutting and mixing their music together, using real instruments, making sure every instrument is heard, and the improv really gives Vulfpeck a unique sound. And to round out today's video, we're going to listen to them perform Back Pocket. Now, I actually do have a couple more songs to listen to you or to show you, but this song Back Pocket is another really famous tune from Vulfpeck. Now, this is their first live performance was at the Blind Pig, which is in Ann Arbor. But this performance is at Madison Square Gardens. And this was in 2019. So they actually headlined a sold out concert. And they're the first band to ever do that without having a manager, without having a record label. So this was a really huge deal for the band. And the recording of this song and all of the music they performed at Madison Square Gardens was recorded here, and they just released that for their 5th album, and they called it Live at Madison Square Garden. So he actually, the singer, gets the audience very involved at the beginning. So I'll let you hear a bit of that, then we'll fast forward and hear the main song.
What was my G again? Okay. This side of the room, you're gonna follow after me like this. Ready? You're gonna go like this. You're gonna go. Put it in my bucket, put it in my bucket, in my back bucket, put it in my bucket, in my bucket, in my back bucket. Oh, sing it. The middle's gonna go like this. Put it in my bucket, put it in my bucket, in my back bucket, put it in my bucket, in my bucket, in my back pocket. Oh, and then this side's gonna go like this. Yeah, put it in my pocket, put it in my pocket, in my back pocket, put it in my pocket, in my pocket, in my back pocket. Oh, can we hear it in 3-part? Acapella, here we go. Oh yeah.
all this
My
time.
mistake, girl, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hope that you know it's not too late, girl.
Put it in my pocket, put it in my pocket, in my back pocket, put it in my pocket, in my pocket, in my back pocket. Whoa.
That's good.
And now I'll fast forward a little bit so you can hear the band singing the song.
I know, and it's taking me all this time to say, girl, I'm slow. So it's taking me all this time to say, girl, didn't know that I was the big one is my mistake, girl. Yeah, the hope that you know it's not too late, girl.
Put it in my pocket, put it in my pocket, in my back pocket, put it in my pocket, in my pocket, in my back pocket.
All right, and then one last song I have for you today is called 1612. And I think the reason behind the name for this song is hilarious. I wanted to share it with you. So Jack Stratton, he named this song, the band founder, and he was asked in an interview, why did you name this 1612? And I'm going to read the quote to you. He said, I was subletting or renting out an Airbnb with a security code of 1612. And it just kept coming up. People texting me, what's the code? Guys calling me, do you remember the code? It just occurred to me that 1612 was really happening in my life at that point, and I wanted to lend some significance to it with that song. I'm a big fan of number-based songs, lending significance to combinations of numbers, so I wanted to get in that world too. Get into that Wikipedia list of songs about numbers, just a lot of goals coming together in that song. So here's a little bit of 1612.
It's a sense, what you need to set it. Sometimes I write a little song so you don't forget it. Sometimes I write a little song to remember the lyrics. I go 16, 12. That's a code to my heart. I go 1, 6, 1, 2. Star, Aquarian, for Taurus. A strike on the box. Ooh, for focus.
All right. I really encourage you to go look up some more Vulfpeck. They're super funky. It's fun to support some artists that are local to us and from our home state. So just go explore a little more Vulfpeck. See if you can find some even funkier songs than Funky Duck and 1612.